Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on another episode of Entrepreneurial Truth. On today's episode, we have Rebekah Brumfield, and she's going to be sharing her insights, her entrepreneurial journey, everything that she's doing. Rebekah, thank you so much for being here today.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for inviting me to your space to share a little bit of information.
Well, I mean, a lot of information because I see all the great things that you're doing. Can you just tell our guests a little bit about what you do, who you are, and who you serve?
Yeah, for sure. My name is Rebekah Brumfield. I live here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have a seasoning line. I do podcasting. Sometimes I'll do some radio host guest appearing. I also own a lipstick line. I do some consulting. And I just love helping people. I just love helping people understand their business, understanding small businesses, just being as authentic as possible and letting them know that this process is not easy, but there are people out there that are willing to help and willing to build community with you and help you to thrive.
Love it, love it. And everyone, okay. Now, when she said serial entrepreneur, I knew you didn't understand. Like she does everything. Just break that down for me. Like, how do you accomplish so much in 24 hours?
Oh, I don't. I have to take it a little bit at a time. You have to prioritize. That's number one. I am old school, so I have like an agenda book or like a calendar. So I write everything down, all of the dates and things that I have scheduled in my phone. I transfer them there. And then I just try to take on what I can handle at that time because it can be a lot. It can be overwhelming. There are times where I've experienced burnout because I'm trying to help so many people. I'm trying to do so much, and I was neglecting myself. And so I had to get more organized. And like I said, I had to figure out what was priority, where did these things fall in my task list? And I wanted to make sure I was giving my best so that I showed up giving everything that I had and delivering excellence.
Awesome, awesome. And we're just going to dive right in and we're just going to start tackling. What do you rate as like top priority for a day?
Oh, top priority for the day is definitely setting my intentions. Just asking God, okay, well, what is it that you have for me to do today? How can I be of service? Who can I help today? Just making sure that whatever it is that I have going on, that it is not going to interfere with the day's task. When you're working with other people, there are deadlines, there are several other things that have to fall in place so that they can be successful. And in turn, you're successful.
Awesome, awesome. All right. And as we have like young entrepreneurs starting out, right? And they may be tackling just one. Can you give them a couple of tips on how to actually prioritize? So, okay, let's say they're not working with other people and it's just them alone. Like, how do you prioritize? Like, what is that number one thing that you should do?
So I would say, how do you prioritize is based on the deadline or the need. Is it a quick turnaround? Do you have a couple days out? Is it something that is needed within minutes? That is how you prioritize what needs to be taken care of. If it's a larger project and it's something you're working on your own, just how can you break that into pieces? So that you're not overwhelming yourself because life happens. Things happen throughout the day. If you have kids, they have to be picked up, dropped off, family, just whatever it is. You have to be able to section off pieces that you can handle and knock it out and move on to the next. But if it's going to require you to focus in, to lock in and spend a little bit more time, then you have to set that time aside. You have to lock in for yourself to say, okay, I need these 2 hours, 3 hours uninterrupted, no calls, no emails to get this task done because I have a deadline. And you can set your own deadline. It could be maybe 7 days out. But if you're setting your own timeline and you want to give yourself enough space and grace to complete it, maybe set that timeline to 4 days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Okay. And for an entrepreneur that has multiple businesses like yourself, what is the number one deadline for you? Is it just what people require of you, or is it like a monetary deadline? Like, I need to make X amount, so this is the deadline.
Some of them are not monetary based. Some things are just things that I offer to help with. I'm still building quite a few of my businesses, so a lot of it is being of service, just adding my extra touch or my expertise to whatever it is. So when it comes to those deadlines, not necessarily letting the money guide me, but if there is a price tag attached to it, of course, you want to make sure you're knocking it out before, so you get your check. But I definitely just try to make sure that um, I don't overwhelm myself. I don't stack too much. And that way, like I said, I always want to deliver excellence. I always want to make sure that whatever it is, whether it's something with my name attached or if it's something I'm working for a client on the back end, in the shadows, I want to make sure that they're represented well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I heard you say, okay, being of service, right?
Mm-hmm.
And community. Do you do a lot of it? And does that help to get your name out there?
Absolutely. When you're first starting out, people want to see what is it that you do? Who are you? If you're not someone that already has an established brand or established business and you're just starting out, or if you're pivoting and you're going into a different direction, people like to see results. People like to see what is it that you can do. And so a lot of it is like in-kind donations or, a lot of volunteering or a lot of just, sponsored buy without getting a return. So you have to find different ways so that you can get yourself plugged in and immersed in different areas. Like I said, if you have people that are just starting over, they're pivoting, they're changing their routes because of the economy or whatever their business may have been. And so now they have to build up that base of trust. So it takes a little time. So, you may have to forego a check or two, in the front of it. But on the back end, once you've built up that name, that reputation, people know they can depend on you, they can trust you, they can trust your vision, then it all falls into place because word of mouth is, still a very large referral base.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Wow, wow. Okay. And for your personal business, right? The distributorship that you have going on, right? So you
Hmm.
have your seasoning line, you have
Yes.
your lipstick. Okay,
Yes.
explain a little bit about how that works.
So with the lipstick, I have a manufacturer that is in Nigeria, and so from there, the beginning parts of it, of course, is sampling. You have all of these different cosmetic manufacturers across the world, finding the right brand, finding the right combination of color. Is it going to live up to what I want? So I have a matte lipstick line. So it's long lasting. I need to make sure, is it going to last? I'm telling people it's long lasting. The color is, high pigmented. All of these things go into research and development. So it took a little while to find the right company that aligned with what I saw for my vision for my line and being able to have consistency with that. Some of your bigger brands like Maybelline, Revlon, they have consistency over the 60, 70 years of their existence. And so with starting out, I wanted to always have the same so that if you order red today and you order again in 3 months, it's the same exact red. You're going to have the same exact results. Like I said, it's long lasting. So you have to be able to eat and it's still there, sip and it's still there. So that's where that part comes from. And that's more of a almost autopilot in a way, because once you order, you have your products, people order and then you just ship it out. The same thing with seasoning, except it's a little different, with seasoning, because seasoning is all about temperature control. When you leave fresh ingredients out over a certain amount of time, they either clump together or they spoil or just different things happen that alters the flavor with seasoning. So with seasoning, it's more so I put it all together by hand. I mix it, I blend it all by hand, bottle it. I do all of those things within a certain amount of time. So if you order today, typically within 3 to 5 days, I've packed it, I've shipped it to you because I want to make sure you get the best quality of the seasoning, right? So both streams are kind of like an autopilot type situation where I let my web page kind of control that. And excuse me. And so from there, I don't really have to think too much about it. I just know that, once I have the seasoning blended, packed, shipped, that's out of the way. Same thing with the lipstick. Some of the other ventures that I have, it's a little bit more hands-on because it's not a product per se. So you have to find a way to make it streamlined to where it fits within the schedule. You're not overworking. I'm not overbooking. I'm not staying up till 12, 1, 2 in the morning, packing seasoning and ordering lipstick. I have to find that balance of what is going to work and how am I going to be able to make sure you're getting your orders on time.
Wow. Listen, I am so impressed. I am so impressed. Like, it's easy to do, or let me not say the word easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's doable to do
Yes.
multiple things in the same arena, but you are like in different areas. And that's really, really impressive.
Thank you. Yes, I love it. It's just things that kind of came to me just over time with season. I love to cook. So I've been cooking probably since I was a child, maybe 9, 10 years old. So seasoning is just something that's just in me. And then lipstick, the red lip is a part of my brand for myself, my personal brand. So typically when you see me out and about, you'll see me with a red lipstick. And so from there, it kind of built up to where I was like, oh, maybe I should just come out with my own lipstick. So that's how that started.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And what are you working on now? So tell us, like you dived into the lipstick, you dived into the
Mhm.
seasoning. What are some of the other projects that you're working on now?
So my other projects are just rebranding the podcast. So I'm the host of a Instagram live called Touch Taste or hashtag Touch Taste Thursdays, and I've been going live on Thursdays since June of 2020. I slowed up a bit. I was doing every Thursday, and I was just exhausted after like 4 months because I'm like back to back, and it's like hosting, you're mentally preparing because you're thinking
Mhm.
about the questions, you're researching the person that you're interviewing, so you're doing all these things. And so now that it's been about 5 years, I'm looking at shifting it a bit to where I'm going to add it on to a news network that I work with, having them as sponsor or doing like a segment. And so with Touch Taste Thursday, it highlights entrepreneurs. It highlights people that have small businesses, that have products and services, and they just want people to know, what is going on, what they have, how they offer, how they can connect. I've also interviewed celebrities from across the United States, just different things, because I like people to tell their story and to share their stories based, from whatever angle they want to come from. And so that is why hashtag Touch Taste Thursday is my current project that I'm just working to rebrand and rebuild. Like I said, it's an established name, but I want to take it to the next level because I feel like after 5 years, it's really time to really expand it.
Yeah, yeah. And I love that you touched into that. I mean, there's so much that goes into doing any kind of live
Mhm.
podcast. And I think people don't really understand the intricacies of everything, uh,
Absolutely.
the preparation time and everything that goes into showing up. And just
Absolutely.
showing up online is not easy.
Correct. Correct. And that is, a key point. I know YouTube and a lot of these other platforms make it look so easy. It makes it
Mhm.
look, like, oh, you just get on a microphone and you start talking. No, like there's a lot that goes behind that when you're serious about it and when
Correct.
you're making a career from it. You want to do your research. You want to be knowledgeable about your topics. You want to be knowledgeable about your guests. You want to create questions based off of the flow of the conversation. And so I've seen where people have begun podcasting and it doesn't end very well.
No, I mean, here's the thing, right? They either don't keep up,
Hmm.
right? So I was having this conversation with my husband and I was telling him, I was like, listen, for our podcast, I realized that we quickly became like one of the few that are like still there because
Yeah.
we publish every single week, you
Hmm.
know. And I never realized that first that, yeah, there's so many podcasts out there, but they're just not consistent. And I
Yes.
was like, consistency is literally what Like it
Absolutely.
separates you from everyone else. Because yeah, you can start.
Mhm.
That doesn't mean that you're going to still be here in the next year or two.
Correct. Consistency is key. I tell everyone if you're going to jump into the media space, you have to be consistent. Now, even in the consistency, you still have to find your own way to have self care. You have to find
Mhm.
your own way to back up a little bit, take a break, take a pause. You can still put out content, it just
Mhm.
may not be within that moment, like lives or anything like that. But you have to find a way to decompress your brain, because
Mhm.
after all of these interviews, all of this research, all of this reading and talking, it's like your brain is on overload and you just get mentally exhausted. And once the brain shuts down, the rest of your body shuts down and you're no good for anything else, whether that's your only business or you have several businesses. And
Mhm.
so I always tell people, a lot of my clients, like, find ways to stay active even if you're not physically active. If you're
Mhm.
not physically able to take pictures, to create content, to do things, just have some other things stacked away. I have so much content in my phone from like the last 3 or 4 years. I've not changed. I still look the same. So you don't know if it was today, yesterday, or 5 years ago, right? And so
Mhm.
a lot of our content creators, that's what they do. They stack up content so that they're not overworking themselves. And that is where it is key for self-care, giving yourself time to decompress. Finding new ways to stay relevant is also another key point when you're in the media space as well, because content changes so fast.
Mhm.
Look at the platforms that we have: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. TikTok shut down for 24 hours and people went nuts,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
24 hours and people went nuts. And
Crazy.
so for content creators that solely relied on TikTok, you should have had some other content you could have placed on
Uh-huh.
other platforms. A lot of
Mhm.
them didn't.
Mhm. Mhm. And oh, man, I have to dive into that with you. Let me dive into that
Yes.
with you. So you're in the radio space. What other platforms are you using right now to promote yourself and your businesses?
I solely use Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and there's another platform called Fanbase. Fanbase is almost like TikTok and Instagram together, pretty much. It's a
What?
Black-owned platform. I've been on it maybe like about 4 years. I don't post as much content as I should, like I do on Instagram and Facebook, but I definitely go back and I add to it. And so that's what I use. That is the main thing. Some of the newer platforms, that's not really my generation, so I don't know. I'm not as familiar, but I know my demographics and I know my target audience, and they're on TikTok, they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram. They'll go back and watch YouTube. So those are the platforms that I mainly use for myself.
I love it. I love it. And in terms of growth for your business, growth for your social media, let's start with social
Mhm.
media since we're kind of into that now. Like, how long did it take you to like grow your fan base?
Oh, wow. It's still growing. It's been 5 years and it's still growing. One thing that I've learned over the years, we look at numbers. We
Mhm.
look at, oh, this person has 20,000 followers, oh, they have 100,000 or they have 1 million or this person has five. Um, Authentic, real followers is really what
Mhm.
pushes your needle. That's what
Mhm.
really gets you the exposure. That's what really brings you the business. Having authentic people, because believe it or not, having 10,000, 20,000 followers is great, but if 900,000 of them are bots, then it's
Ooh,
nothing, you know.
nope.
I I have a really close friend of mine that has like tens of thousands of followers. And you look at her comments when she posts things, and she might have like 5 comments and
Mhm.
like 20 likes.
Mhm.
And I'm like, how? And then I
Exactly.
realized she may have been using something to kind of boost it up, or to, be able to have access to certain back end things on the platform. And I'm just like, but that's not authentic. That's not real. And so growing slowly but steady and having authentic users following and engaging, that gives you so much more engagement across the board and across platforms. Because
Mhm.
with Meta having Instagram and Facebook, believe it or not, they actually do kind of go across platforms with engagement and viewership.
Mhm. Mhm. Wow. Wow. I'm glad you brought that up because yes, I think a lot of us out here we judge, where that person is based on the numbers,
Hmm.
right?
Yes, yes.
All right. And then tell me about the growth of your business. So, okay, so you
Hmm.
use social media to
Yes,
grow, but like for your business, how
yes.
else were you growing in the community?
So growing in the community, that goes back to, like I said, just showing up, participating in different events, connecting and saying, hey, I have seasoning. I would like to put my seasoning in your VIP bags. Or if you are doing a giveaway, I would like to donate some seasoning to your giveaway. Same thing with lipstick. There's a lot of pop-up shops here. I'm
Mhm.
not really a pop-up shop girly. I probably should. I absolutely probably should. I just haven't gotten to that space where I'm like, I want to participate and vend at all of these pop-up shops because believe it or not, it's a lot of work going into planning for
Mhm.
pop-up shops. You have to plan, your products. You also have to plan the things that you need, like bottles and labels and all of that stuff. And so I just hadn't tapped into that much. I've done it. I didn't really like it. And so I said, well, let me pivot and figure out something better. And that is what led me to reaching out when these empowerment seminars are going on, or women's groups, church groups, men's fellowships, whatever it is, just letting them know, hey, I have seasoning. I would like to, be included as a vendor in your VIP bags, or just having product placement. Sometimes you can also find content creators in your area that may or may not charge to review your product. That's how I began as a product reviewer. And so in 2020, during COVID, when people were trying to find stuff to do, because everyone was inside, so supposed to have been inside, they were
Mhm.
creating, people were creating candle lines and creating desserts and all of that stuff. And so that's where I found my niche, where I was reaching out to these small business owners that were just beginning. And I'm like, well, hey, I'll review your product live and, I'll talk to you about it. You can tell me all about your story. How did you get here? Why did you create this? And so from there, once I began doing my own products, those same people, I reached out to them to say, hey, look, I got seasoning. I would like for you to promote my seasoning on your whatever you have going on. And so it's been an exchange of that. And so that's how it's grown in the community. Reaching out to family and friends across the United States, just shipping out seasoning before even saying, hey, I want you to purchase it so they can try it. Just finding creative ways, to let people know what you're doing, who you are, and what you have.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the exchange of value. I love it.
Hmm.
I love it.
Absolutely.
I want you guys to hear what she's saying, right? So not everything is about money, right? When you're just starting, you
Hmm.
have to put in the work.
Yes.
I realize that there are multiple generations listening to our podcast, and I'm telling you, regardless of what you have to put in the work, right? In order to grow, you have to put in the work one way or the other. It's not like entrepreneurship is not this easy magic pill that
Not at
that you
all.
see. It's not. It's
I
not.
wish it was, but it's not. Not at
It's not.
all.
It's all about the work.
Hmm.
Oh man, there's so many things. Like I sat down and I was like, okay, how can I make sure that this conversation is not only impactful, but I get as much in the time that we have, right?
Yes, yes.
So I mean, we're starting in reverse because I didn't even ask you your story or any of that stuff. Because I'm like, let me just get to it.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
yeah, you started to talk about, getting into it during COVID. Is
Hmm.
there more to the story that you want to share?
Oh gosh. So I, like you said, going in reverse. So that is how I started. That was my first initial introduction to the media space. It was, it's like I remember to the day. I was in New Orleans airport. I was traveling to Detroit to visit my parents. I had just purchased some wireless earbuds from Raycon. Um, and I mean, I was new to the wireless things because I still had the ear pods with the string to it. So I was like, okay, let me try these, whatever. So I was in the airport and I just did a video and I was just like, hi everybody, I just bought these AirPods. I can hear my music clearly, I can hear people around me, but it's not overwhelming. Like, just a quick little, maybe 30-second video about the AirPods. And so once I posted it, it went to like Facebook Facebook universe. And so from there, people were messaging me like, hey, what do you really think about it? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? I'm like, yeah, it's great. Like, let me know once you order them. So people started ordering them. And so that was my first video, my first review, my first like content creation kind of space. And so it just kind of started to grow from there because, like I said, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks later, the world shut down. People were starting to create their products and they were posting that they were, creating this, that, and the other. They were selling whatever. So I would just reach out to them and say, well, hey, I'm in Baton Rouge. I would love to meet you to order candles or to order cupcakes or whatever. And so I started doing that. So after a while, it became where people were reaching out to me to say, hey, well, I have this, I have that. There were a lot of groups like people becoming CEOs. They were creating businesses. So now they're the CEO, the presidents of these businesses, right? And so in those groups, just posting saying, hey, I'm a product reviewer. We can do product exchange. You can, if you want a free review, I will purchase product or you can give it to me, however. And so from there, I did that for about 2 years and I just kept going. And then, like I said, I got to a space where I was like, I can create my own products, So that's where the lipstick came in with my personal branding look, the seasoning, because I love to cook. And then I started helping other people build their brands, building their platforms, because I had a lot of senior citizens that didn't know how to work social media. They weren't interested in learning social media and they didn't know how to work social media. So it's like they had businesses, but they wanted to know what were they missing and how could they tap to their market. So that's where the business itself started to come into fruition of, okay, well, let me help you build your social media. So now I'm creating all of these Instagram pages, all of these Facebook pages, helping people take pictures, post pictures, create content for their business. And so now I have about 4 or 5 clients that I've worked with since that time that their business is now just fully automated through social media. Like they don't even have a brick and mortar or they're not inside their home anymore. They're just shipping it out. And so that pushed me a little bit further into, well, let me expand my podcasting outside of entrepreneurs to just people that want to come and talk and share their stories. And so from there, I've been able to interview a lot of celebrities through different networks that I've met. I was on Clubhouse for a while, so I met a lot of people through Clubhouse that wanted to come on and talk about it because podcasting was fairly new in 2020, 2021. And so having a space where people can come and talk and share their own stories versus what was in the tabloids, what were rumors, it was a safe space, or it is a safe space. And so that is how we got from there to here. And so, like I said, now 5 years later, Touch Taste Thursday is a thing. Like people know Touch Taste Thursday, and they can equate that to Rebekah and, being a product tester, being a content creator, being an entrepreneur, and helping people to also create spaces for themselves as entrepreneurs. So that's that.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And for everyone that knows you, they know how to find you. But for everyone else that doesn't, can you let everybody know how they can find you, where they can find your products?
Yes, absolutely. You can go to my webpage. It's RebekahBrumfield.com. I'm on Facebook at Rebekah E. Brumfield. I'm on Instagram at Rebekah with a K. I'm on TikTok, Rebekah with the K225. But definitely, if you just type in my name in Google, something will pop up, whether it's LinkedIn or YouTube or some pictures or something. Something will pop up if you put in my name in the Google search.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And I love everything that you're doing. It's like, I mean, you're phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And also I wanted to mention Black News Network. That is one of the networks that I correspond with news, entertainment, And like I said, adding different segments to it. So we're always looking to add people to come and give input. So, if we're looking for sportscasters and not so much weather yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there. But, just different people that have things that they want to add to the platform. We're always open for people to join us.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. If you could give your top 5 tips to the
Mhm.
entrepreneurs listening, what would they be?
Oh gosh, number one, five, like out of five, the number one thing I would say, follow your gut, follow your heart. If it's something that you feel that God has led you to do, and it's something that is just constantly coming up, that is something for you to do. Explore that. A lot of times, like I dream vividly, I dream in color. And so when things keep coming up in my dreams, I'm like, okay, God, this is something that I need to look more into. And so that would be my number one top thing. Secondly, prioritize. We're in a space where everything moves so quickly and everyone is always fast paced. Everyone is always, I need it, I need it, I need it. But you have to work at your pace. When you don't work at your pace and you're trying to go above and beyond too fast, too soon, it's not going to yield the result that you want. So I would say work at your pace and find what your lane is. The third thing would be find what your lane is. Don't be in everybody else's lane. You have to find what you're good at, what you're passionate about. Trying to do too much, trying to keep up with social media, you're going to be exhausted and you're still going to be all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
right? The fourth thing I would say is to find community, find a group of people that are in that same space that you're in and get some mentorship, learn, be a student. You can always learn. There's never anyone that's been successful that has ever said, oh, I know it all. They're
Mm-hmm.
constantly learning. They're constantly, watching podcasts like yours. They're, reading. They're in seminars. They're taking continuing education classes to be better. And then I would say, lastly, just be as authentic as possible. It probably should be number one. But in the midst of all of it, be as authentic as possible. People love authenticity. Be who you
Mm-hmm.
are. I pride myself on what you see online is who you see in person.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that that is something that is lost in social media as well. People creating these alter egos, and it's not real, it's not authentic, and you have to be who you are because trying to be someone else is exhausting.
Mm-hmm. And don't be afraid to show up as that person,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
because
Be
I
who you are.
I find that it's a lot of the time is fear that stops people
Hmm.
from showing up authentically because they have a feeling that they need to appear as someone else, right?
Yes,
In order to
yes.
be accepted. And yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Be who you are. I mean, you are who you are, and you'll be surprised the amount of people that love and respect your transparency, your authenticity. As we grow, we learn to just be yourself because that's easier than being a fraud.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's way easier to be yourself than anyone else. So
Yes.
love that. Love that. Rebecca, thank you so much for coming on today.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank you
for
so much for having
sharing.
me.
Oh, absolutely. It was a pleasure having you on. And of course, hope to have you on again.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Awesome. Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.